Welcome to the His Call Technology Podcast, where we are communicating tomorrow's business needs today. From just outside Nashville, Tennessee, join His Call as we discuss all things telephony, data, and infrastructure related to business leaders. Here we go.
Welcome to this episode of the His Call Technology Podcast. This is your host, Chuck. Today we'll be talking with XMedius about enterprise-class unified communications. XMedius is a trusted partner with His Call with decades of experience. XM Connect includes such UC applications as voice, voicemail, unified messaging, mobility, personal assistant, call center, and some others. Our special guest is Tom Minifie. He's Vice President and General Manager, Voice Solutions at XMedius. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself and XMedius.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. So previously, I was the CTO at AVST, or Applied Voice and Speech Technology. And then about a year and a half ago, XMedius acquired AVST. So we're all one company now. And as you said, under the new XMedius, I'm the VP and General Manager of the Voice Solutions Group. What that specifically means is I'm in charge of product management and product development for the voice solutions, including XM Connect, which you mentioned. For those that aren't familiar with XMedius, we really focus on providing secure and enterprise-grade communication solutions for companies of all sizes. XMedius really, as I mentioned, was the combination of both the original XMedius group, which is very much focused on fax over IP solutions, secure file transfer solutions, delivered either through a cloud service offering or on-premise type solutions. So the combination of that, along with AVST, where we were really a best-of-breed solution within the unified messaging call processing space. And now those two companies have been brought together and are running under the name of XMedius. Just to note, our headquarters is in Montreal, with offices in Seattle and Paris and employees all over the world. I'm actually based out of the Seattle office, where the majority of our voice development team resides as well. From a company standpoint, we're a smaller company. It's all relative. So we're smaller than IBM. We're bigger than, 50-person offices type of thing, but we are very much focused on customer satisfaction, where, we're smaller and nimble and we can focus on what we do and really focus on what can we do to deliver through channel partners like His Call. How do we deliver solutions that are going to delight our end customers, either through cloud delivery or on-premise solutions? So that's who we are, and that's my background as well.
I will support what you say in that, being a global company yet small enough to be responsive and nimble, that has been my experience from our sales team, our channel team, all the way through to when I've had to contact the support team. They're there, they're responsive and knowledgeable. So XMedius, XM Connect is what we're going to focus on today. I'm looking forward to another episode where we're going to talk about the fax solution and some of the other things. But for XM Connect, you mentioned that's formerly known as CX-E, right?
That's right. Yeah. Way back, it was known as Call Express. And then several years ago, we changed it to CX-E, and the E is for enterprise. And now under the XMedius brand, we've changed it to XM Connect. All the same product, just different naming, branding.
Over 3 decades, you guys have been innovating in the voice space.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't want to date myself too far, but yeah, I've got 25 plus years with the product.
So talking about XM Connect, formerly CX-E, you also have some OEM agreements with a couple other partners of His Calls, Mitel and NEC.
That's right. The XM Connect product is available under the NEC and Mitel brands. NEC has it branded as UM8700 and is a nice integrated solution into their SV 9500, 9300, as well as their 3C platform. And then on the Mitel side, it's known as MyCam, which is MyCollab Advanced Messaging. And that can be integrated into the MX1 solution, the MyVoice Business solution, the MyVoice Connect solution, which is the old ShoreTel product. So it's available through the OEMs or under our brand for non-NEC and Mitel environments.
What are some of the main features that XM Connect delivers?
Yeah, so it is, XM Connect delivers a number of different applications. It is a platform of ours. So all of these are available and they can either be enabled or disabled on the platform. So customers don't have to acquire or consume everything. They can kind of pick and choose what they want, and even pick and choose on a user by user basis if they like. It includes voicemail, automated attendant, unified messaging, mobility, personal assistant. It has IVR and call center capabilities as well through our TeamQ application. So all of those are available. XM Connect is unique in that it can deliver all of these applications regardless of what phone system we're connected to. So XM Connect sits behind a phone system, and all of the applications are PBX agnostic. So it's not like we can deliver some of these on an NEC or a Mitel and other features on Cisco or Avaya or whatever. We can deliver them all behind any call control platform. And we can actually, off of a single deployment, we can actually support multiple PBXs. So if a customer has, let's say, Avaya at one site, Cisco at another, maybe they're looking at Microsoft Skype for Business, or they've got NEC or Mitel, whatever it may be, we can have a single deployment that actually integrates and connects to all those different call control platforms. So you have a single messaging call processing application server that then supports all these different call control platforms. XM Connect is, known not only for the interop piece of it, but we scale really well, and it's an extremely reliable solution, which you wouldn't think you'd need to point that out as a feature. You would hope that all IT solutions are reliable, but over the years of development for this, we've just created just a rock solid solution. The bigger and more complex the environment, the more likely we are to be the best and probably only solution for a customer.
When CX-E 9 was released, that is one of the things that stood out in my mind when I was watching the webinars and reading the documentation was in the scale. I mean, it grows huge. Also multi-tenancy, so if you're hosting a system for multiple organizations, they can have their own tenant to be separated from other organizations.
Yeah, that's right. It scales real well. We can support up to, 60,000 users on a single deployment, and you can have multiple deployments and network them together, but off of a single instance, it's 60,000 users, which is pretty large. And we do support multi-tenanting now. So whether that's for more of a service provider type organization, or we run into some government customers that they want a single platform, but they really want to have a virtual wall between different departments and that sort of thing. And so tenanting can come into play there.
You mentioned that XM Connect provides unparalleled interoperability for telephony and systems. That makes it ideal for organizations working with multiple communications platforms. And one of our customers replaced two separate voicemail systems with a single XM Connect that was integrated with two different phone systems in two different states. It worked out real well.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the architecture, where although the product's been around for many years, we really did a kind of a re-architecture several years ago to come up with this really a centralized solution that has remote survivability so that you can deploy a single solution. It has what we call call servers that can sit out at remote locations and allows you to really support multiple locations off of that single server, and it still delivers high availability, disaster recovery, and the like. It's really a nice architecture that our customers seem to appreciate.
It really is a nice architecture. And in the scenario that I've described to you, there were two different phone systems. They were what we might say legacy phone systems that we integrated with. We used two different types of integrations. It was the same manufacturer phone system, just two different releases. So we had different technologies available to us in those, and so we used two different integration types. So, Tom, what are the main value propositions for XM Connect?
Yeah, certainly we've talked about interoperability already, and that is definitely at the top of the list where, we recognize that every IT department is different and that solutions change over time. So we believe that if we can interop with what you have today and what you may deploy in the future, that delivers a lot of value to customers as they're typically looking to future-proof their solution. So from an interop perspective, we can interop or integrate with just about any PBX, old and new. So we can still support very old legacy PBX environments that are more TDM based or analog T1 type PBXs, as well as, voice over IP type solutions. And now even Microsoft's jumped into the game. So I'm not sure they refer to themselves as a PBX, but some customers are using Skype for Business as their phone solution as well, and we can integrate into that. From the phone side of things, we've got very in-depth integration capabilities, but that also extends for unified messaging, interop into various email solutions, whether it's Microsoft Exchange or Office 365, which is Exchange in the cloud, or if you're a Google Gmail customer, or there's still some IBM Domino Notes customers out there, we can interop with all of those. So that's very much one of the great value props, because we can integrate with what you have. And as I mentioned, if you change out any of those components, you don't need to get rid of our solution. We can then integrate with the new thing that you deploy as well. And the other thing that, from a value perspective, as most people are aware, IT has become extremely security sensitive, where everything's about security because of the various breaches. And that extends into every IT component, even something like a voicemail system, where you may not think of voicemail as being bleeding edge technology anymore. It's been around for a long time, but even voicemail systems need to be secure. So being able to help customers with their security initiatives and compliance initiatives, that's an important piece, and we spend a lot of time on that. Whether it be message retention or it's about encryption, where you're trying to encrypt real-time communications or encrypt stored communications like messages, those are all things that we can help customers with. And finally, compared to some of the competition, everything that we support is in fact supported off of a single deployment. It's one platform, it's one application that you're managing or administrating. It's not multiple systems that are all being managed independently. XM Connect tends to be, even though it has a very broad application set, it's very easy to manage and administer, both for our partners like his call as well as the end customer if they're getting involved with that.
Talking about enhancing and extending the life of current infrastructures, security, you mentioned the broad applications. Can you talk a little bit about some of those and how they might help an organization?
Sure. Most of our customers start with voicemail, auto attendant, unified messaging, and that tends to be a replacement where a customer already has a voicemail unified messaging system and it's become end of life. It's the operating system it runs on is no longer supported and secure. And so they need to make a replacement. And we're a really nice option for that because we can come in and replace what they have. We can even mimic the interface that they have. So if you have an old Octel system or Centigram system or whatever it may be, we can deploy a user interface that matches up to what the user community is used to. Unified messaging, that's really bringing voice, fax, and email together through a common interface. And typically it all goes into the email system so that, let's say you use Outlook for email, you're able to pick that up. We've got a really nice solution where we can integrate with just about any back-end email server. We also have, now with everyone using mobile phones, everyone's got a mobile phone and we're very mobile in nature. And so being able to receive a call off of the corporate or company PBX and then deliver that call to a mobile device, kind of find me, follow me technology, that's all things that XM Connect does very well. We also have speech recognition as a strong interface, both for outside callers. So if your company receives calls from the outside and they don't know extensions of people that they need to reach, they can simply speak a person's name. So they can say Tom Minifie and it transfers to my desired phone, whether that be my desk phone, my mobile phone, my home office phone, whatever it may be. And then from the user side of things, speech rec can be used as well. So imagine you jump into the car in the morning to drive to work and you've got an hour commute. During that time, you can use our speech interface as a hands-free, eyes-free type interface and, manage messages, place calls, have the system place calls for you, check your calendar, create new calendar items. All of those types of things are available off of the platform. And then we also have a call center solution as well that we call TeamQ, which is really more for informal call centers, or I call them self-managed call centers or self-managed groups that all receive the same types of calls. TeamQ is a nice solution for that group.
The TeamQ application, we talked recently to a university that has a legacy phone system that's not currently budgeted for upgrade, but they made some changes in their IT help desk. The TeamQ application was something that was of interest to them because it gave them different ways of handling their calls. They didn't have call center software on the old phone system. TeamQ gave them an option to handle those calls a little differently and provide some added value to the way that they serve their customers.
Yeah, that's great. IT help desks are a primary market for TeamQ because, unlike a revenue-based call center where your agents are sitting in the seat on the phone all day long, there's a bunch of other groups like an IT help desk where they do a lot of things. Answering the phone is just one of the things that they do. Being able to provide them productivity tools through TeamQ to tell people or to show people, hey, here's who's calling, here's what they're calling about, here's what other members of your team are doing right now. It allows those agents or IT help desk people to make the best decision possible of, what's the best use of their time right now. Is it to sit and answer a call, or can you go install some software or whatever task is on your list for the day?
I was also reminded as you were talking about the speech rec. They just passed, it goes into effect in July here in the state of Tennessee. It is going to be illegal for you to even have your phone in your hand while you're in the vehicle. The ability to do hands-free communications while you're on the road, to make calls, answer calls, manage your calendar, manage your email, all without touching your phone. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that laws similar to that are in place in other states, and there's definitely a move across the nation in that direction where it makes sense. I mean, it's dangerous to be certainly looking at your phone, holding it, just a distraction while you're driving. So hands-free, eyes-free type interfaces, I think, are going to become more and more prevalent. And we've been in that we've been delivering that since 2003. So, we have 15 years of experience delivering that sort of application.
And the fact that you integrate with Mitel MyVoice Connect provides an opportunity to replace a product that had been used on the traditional ShoreTel side of Mitel's telephony, product that they've gone out of business. Great speech product, but just no longer available. So to have a replacement for that important.
Yeah, very good. I know that we've just recently refreshed our certification on the Connect product through Mitel. I'm sure they'll be promoting that fact as a replacement for the product that you mentioned.
Fantastic. That's good information. Tom, does XM Connect target specific vertical markets?
Yeah, so we don't, from a development perspective, we haven't built a lot of vertical specific features. We do have a separate product other than XM Connect that is targeted at the hospitality market, so hotel, motel type interfaces where you integrate into the property management system and there's wake up calls and that sort of thing. But for XM Connect, we have seen great success in specific vertical markets, but I don't believe that's because we've built a bunch of special features. We've done very well in higher education, which you mentioned talking to a university earlier, healthcare and government verticals. And there's a real tie between healthcare and higher education because a lot of the larger public universities also have an associated medical center. And often we will have both of those as our customers. So we've done real well in those three markets. We're happy to sell our product to any vertical market, but those are the three that stand out. And if you look at those, it's they tend to be larger organizations. They have multiple phone systems, complex environments. In some markets like healthcare, there's great consolidation where these healthcare organizations are acquiring other facilities. And when that happens, typically people aren't going to say, okay, we just acquired this company, so let's change out the phone system and make it the same as what we have at the others. Phone systems tend to be different across broad organizations that have grown through consolidation or acquisition. But they do like to standardize on some of the call processing messaging type solutions. So we're pretty popular in healthcare because as they acquire, they can then integrate us into whatever phone system that new acquisition has, but keep everybody on the same messaging system. Those are the main verticals that have shown great success, and hopefully that explains why.
Yeah, what's currently driving XM Connect sales?
One of the biggest things right now is Microsoft, where, it used to be Microsoft had a unified messaging solution through Exchange, so Exchange unified messaging. And similar to us, Microsoft would integrate that into different PBX environments. But here recently, this first came out a little less than 2 years ago. Microsoft started making announcements about what they were doing with voice communications and unified messaging. What has resulted is unified messaging is actually going away from the Exchange platform. So if you upgrade to Exchange 2019, there is no more unified messaging. If you're using Exchange and Office 365, you're no longer going to be able to connect that into your phone system. So as Microsoft has moved further and further into delivering voice applications through Skype for Business as well as their Teams solution, they really don't want to support third-party PBXs anymore. And so because of that, there's a lot of existing Microsoft Exchange customers that need to find a different solution. If they don't want to go full Microsoft and replace their PBX with a hosted voice solution from Microsoft, then they really need to find a different solution. And we're an ideal option for them. So that's driven a tremendous amount of business for us over the last couple of years, is customers that are having to migrate away from the Microsoft technology. They still use Exchange, but they use us for unified messaging. instead of the Microsoft unified messaging. Company consolidation, as I had mentioned earlier, that's driving business as these organizations acquire other companies, they deploy our product or they expand an existing deployment. Speech-based applications are driving business because of the Handsfree, ICE-free laws. And then the security item as well. I mentioned that earlier, but IT departments are very focused on making sure all of their applications are secure. And if you've got an older system, older operating system that's not being maintained anymore, they need something new and fresh, and we've got a great option for them.
Okay, so as we begin to close out, why XMedius and why XM Connect?
Yeah, so I suppose it's trivial to say, but we really are all about being customer focused and delivering on our promises and keeping our customers happy. I suppose any company can say that, but it's quite different to actually deliver on that charter. And I think we do a pretty good job with that. We try to be extremely responsive, and we compete against very large companies that don't necessarily have the same level of focus in our application areas. So one of the things that we think we can do to really compete against the big guys is to be just completely focused on customer satisfaction. I think XMedius is also completely focused on secure communications. So this is our core business. It's everything that we do. XM Connect is a best in class solution. So, we aren't a PBX provider, so we aren't focusing on our R&D on PBX. It's all about our application suite. If customers are looking for a best in class solution, whether it be through one of our OEMs like NEC or Mitel, or to put behind other call control solutions, we are the best in that area. That's the way I see it. I think XMedius and XM Connect can be a great option for any customer, and it's all about meeting their needs.
I agree with you. You've got a believer in me and in his call. Tom, thank you for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure to talk with you as you share some of your knowledge about XMedius and XM Connect. I also want to thank you for listening to the podcast today. His call appreciates every opportunity to help you make good decisions for your business communications. If you enjoy the podcast, we hope you will leave a review as it helps others find the podcast. As we wrap up today, we'll leave you with these final words. Don't be afraid, just believe.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the His Call Technology Podcast. Subscribe to this podcast so you can stay up to date with today's business communication trends. To learn more about His Call solutions for your business needs, or to listen to previous podcasts, visit us at our website, hiscall.com.